way down if it serves your comfort.
Hello, everyone. You are listening to and watching 107.7 WFCS The Edge, New Britain, Hartford. My name is Taylor, and we are here with...
Mary Fraud.
Now, Mary just performed here at Emerging Echoes in none other than Meriden, Connecticut. Shout out to United Rhythms for hosting the event, and also to Prolific. You just came out with an EP, Trender, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was such an interesting title. Where did the title Trender come from?
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a personal thing, but I think that so I'm a trans woman, and I guess I made the cover art. I painted it myself, and then I just snapped a picture of it, and that was the cover art. And I put a bunch of transgender logos all over it, and I was just thinking about the term trans trender, and I was like, that's cool, trender, okay. And I just went with it. I didn't really think too hard about it.
That's beautiful. I think one thing, obviously that's a testament to it, but one thing just through listening to your music that I've learned is how cathartic and personal and vulnerable it is. Can you take us through, what your process looks like in writing these songs?
Yeah, so I feel like every song is uniquely different in the way it starts. If I try to give myself a rule book for how I'm supposed to begin making a song to get a 100% good song made today guarantee, it never ends up working. I Loved You Sore Loser started out as a poem. Chlorine started out as a poem, but Recover started out as me playing around on the guitar with the D chord and moving my fingers around. And Silent Woman was just a demo that I had made from bringing my fingers up and down on open C tuning. So it all kind of comes from different places, but it's definitely very rooted in my experience and just my life.
And I thank you for being so vulnerable with us in your music, because I know the crowd could really feel it tonight. What other musicians do you take inspiration from that has sort of influenced your style? Because your style is just so unique.
Yeah, thank you. All over the place. As far as voice goes, I'm in love with Nico from the Velvet Underground. She taught me that you can be a woman with a deep voice, and it removed a lot of the dysphoria that came in from being trans and wanting to make very feminine music and feminine rooted music, and music rooted in the feminine experience, but having this deep voice that I always just was insecure, sounded like a guy. It helped me see that artists like Tracy Chapman, Nico from the Velvet Underground, women like that really inspire me. Jeff Buckley also, he's an amazing writer. He's a poet in his own right. His chords are amazing. A lot of classic rock, a lot of electronic stuff. I grew up on a lot of EDM and bass music, so that influenced a lot of my production, which the whole EP self-produced. So all different kinds of places. I have severe ADHD, so I cannot stick to one musical style for more than a week before I'm trying to find other stuff that piques my interest. So
That's amazing that you're always on your toes and you're always inspired and challenged creatively.
I try to write about it, but nothing comes to mind.
So with the type of music that you create, what do you enjoy the most about performing it live in front of a group of people, especially since it is so deeply personal?
I think the other shows that I've done in the past have always been me singing into a mic with no stand with a backtrack from the original song. But this time, it was so scary because I had never performed live with a guitar before. It was my first time ever doing that, just my voice and a guitar. And so it was entirely dependent on my technical skill, which I'm still trying to brush up on. But I enjoyed the most about it that every time I was nervous or anxious, I could look up at the crowd and I could see all these people's faces smiling at me, these people that I know personally. And I could just be like, no, this is like right where I'm supposed to be. Like, and I could feel it. Like I could feel it in my chest. Like it was there, you know, the energy was there. Yeah, that's what I love most about it. These live performances are beautiful.
And I can tell you just from being in the audience tonight that the audience felt that. I felt like we were all very connected to you. I think you really just kind of held grip of the room in this really, really beautiful, unique way. One thing I had learned about you actually through your introduction is that you started creating at 8 years old. I can't even imagine doing what you do at this age, let alone 8 years old. How has your creative process changed throughout the years? And then how do you also take the creativity that you use in other projects that kind of translates into your music?
Yeah, so when I began making music, I was super, super young. My music taste was like still all over the place, but I was heavily invested in, out of all places, the dubstep community and the bass music community. And I wanted to be just like that, so I got into some of the underground dubstep community by the time I was like 12 or 13. And I learned a lot about the technical aspects of production so I could be my own engineer. And then when I started wanting to transition to more acoustic stuff, folky stuff, alternative stuff, bluesy stuff, I was able to implement the engineering from those into my music. And yeah. Sorry, could you go over the question again? Was I on point? Like,
Yeah, absolutely. I was just asking sort of about your creative process and, you know, like you said that you started creating from 8 years old and sort of how that translates through the years when you create other things versus music and how it's evolved.
yeah, mind if I take this? I think it's definitely evolved. It's taken many different forms. Before Mary Fraud, I had another alias that I went by that I released 2 albums under, but you probably won't find them anywhere online, called Easton Akuni. And that stuff was very soul inspired, very R&B inspired, very hip-hop inspired. And that's the alias that I performed my first 2 shows under. And then eventually I just got tired of the box that I felt like I put myself in. So I transitioned to Mary Fraud. My taste started changing. My interest started changing. My life started changing. And I think that informed the mood of a lot of the stuff that I've done recently and still doing now.
Well, I am so excited to see, you know, how your music continues to transition with time. Where can we find Mary Fraud? Where can we support Mary Fraud? Do we have any upcoming projects or social media or anything to promote?
Yeah, so I am coming out with a single called The Day After on June 7th, and I performed that live. I debuted it here. And you can find me, Mary Fraud, on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, I don't know who uses that, but all of them. And yeah, Instagram is where you'll find updates from me most, at Mary Fraudulent on Instagram.
Awesome. And we can also find Mary and all of the other artists that performed tonight on 107.7 WFCS, New Britain, Hartford, The Edge. My name is Taylor, and thank you so much, Mary, for taking the time to speak with me today. I really appreciate it.
From the river to the sea, free Palestine. Thank you.